So we're going to move on now to the next session, which is the Fliplet roadmap update. So I've got quite a lot to cover today, so I'll be going quite quickly, and this will be available in a recording. So if you'd like to kind of follow up afterwards, get access to this, so maybe you can cover it slightly slower. I believe we'll be emailing out the recordings soon after today's presentation. So once again, I'm in Broom. If you have any questions at any point, use the QA feature. We will be using throughout the rest of today's presentations the feature that I mentioned at the start, which is if you want more information about the feature we're talking about, we will tell you a keyword, pop that into the QA feature, we'll note it down, and we will follow up with you to share information about how you can gain access to that feature before it's released to everybody else. So basically, contact us using the keyword to get early access to some of the features that we're going to talk about today. So we will cover lots of things today: user engagement features, data-powered features, add-ons updates, domain and SEO features, Studio and Fliplet viewer updates, developer tools, form updates, and app solution updates. And as I've already mentioned, you're going to see demos of our new advanced analytics feature, which is powered by AI. You're going to learn about the new event solution features that we're adding into the event app. And you're going to see for the first time the action builder user interface, which is also powered by AI. It's going to be a very exciting, action-packed remainder of today's summit. So let's dive into the user engagement features. These are the features that I was alluding to in the keynote. So there's kind of a problem, and hopefully Fliplet's come up with a solution. And the problem is that in order to unlock the maximum value of your app, you need to be able to do certain things, which I mentioned in the keynote. But not all of our customers have the capabilities to do this for a range of reasons. The most common one we hear is that the people building the app are not marketing professionals or copywriters, so they don't know how to produce marketing material. They don't feel comfortable doing it. Our customers may not understand how to use email and push notifications to retain users because they have never done it before. They may be unsure how to gather feedback from their users efficiently and effectively. They may not be prioritizing doing these tasks because they've been told, get the app done and move on to other things. And then finally, they may be questioning whether or not their users want to be communicated with. So Fliplet's thought a lot about these problems. We've heard a lot of customers struggling with these issues. And we've produced a suite of features that are going to make engaging with your users a lot easier. So we're going to be adding these into solutions so that you only have to review, maybe tweak the content. You don't have to come up with it yourself. The content will be easily edited via an admin screen built into the app. So you can change the content at any time in minutes. You don't have to build new things. We've enabled it so that users have complete control over the communication they're receiving. So if users don't want to receive any emails or push notifications, they can opt out very easily. And we've made sure that the features that I'm about to cover can be tested as part of pilots. So rather than guessing what will our users think of this, you can just include it in the pilot. You can get your pilot users exposed to it, and then they can send you feedback about what they thought, hopefully building your confidence that these features are valuable and your target audience will appreciate them. So this slide includes a lot of information, but there are basically 5 stages that we've been factoring in to our engagement and retention capabilities. The first is thinking about what happens before a user logs in. What information should we be sharing with people? Then after they log in, what should we be sharing with people? We've factored in gamification, which is a common feature in a lot of our solutions already, but we've kind of included it as part of the process we've been analyzing. We've got the user survey, which I've mentioned already, and the app update information, or how to communicate with people when you make changes to your app. So diving into some examples. So I mentioned communicating in the keynote. So here's some examples of the types of information that we would recommend you include. So before login, you can only use email, because in order to send push notifications, people have to install the app and accept push notifications. So using email before they've initially log in, you could send an introduction and then promote a series of primary, secondary, tertiary features and the benefits to your users. We'll have content built for all of this when you use our new solutions. And we can also very rapidly help you to apply these features to an existing app. So we can help you tailor this content to suit your app. One of the other critical aspects is that the before login emails will stop as soon as the user logs in for the first time. So if you send the first email and a user logs in, they will not receive the remaining emails. But if a user only logs in after the third email, then they will only not receive the fourth. So we've intelligently done that. And of course, if they receive all the emails and they don't log in, then a bit like what Daikama said, you may need to actually go out and do face-to-face training or contact them. After login, you can use push notifications as well as email, and we recommend you use both because there's no guarantee that people will necessarily respond to push notifications. And so, as you can see here, we would suggest encouraging the use of like the biggest or the kind of main features, and then start talking about beginner features in more detail, intermediate features in more detail, and advanced features. And these kind of templates make it very easy for us or our customers to come up with the content very quickly. And all of the notification content can be configured via admin screens. Then we've got gamification. This is a feature that's been in Fliplet for a long time. It basically allows you to create a series of awards that people can see on an award screen. But when people win the awards by doing things in the app, they get a confetti firework goes off on the screen. It's really beautiful. It's really exciting. Lots of customers love this feature. And what it does is encourages the user of your app to be like, oh, I just got an award. What did I get the award for? How can I get more awards? That was a really cool feature. I want to see more confetti fireworks. Users can go in at any time and learn more about what the different awards mean by clicking on them. And all of the awards are managed via an admin screen. Let's talk about this user survey that I mentioned. So as you can see here, it's a screenshot of the survey. The first thing you'll notice, it's really simple, and that's intentional. We don't want people spending any more time than necessary filling this in. We have observed some customers build their own surveys in the past. Most of the time, I would say customers have a tendency to make the survey too long. And the critical thing is to get any feedback at all, not to try to get the user to spend 15 minutes filling in a form for you, because then they'll never want to do it again. If they know last time it took me 10 seconds to give feedback, I will happily do it again, you're much more likely to get consistent feedback from users. So there's a lot of psychological thought that's kind of gone into this survey feature. The feature only shows up after a certain period of time, for example, after the user's third session, and only after they've been using the app for 1 or 2 minutes. So we're not getting in the way of what they loaded the app to do, like getting in the way of the primary reason why they loaded the app. The feature also automatically asks users to complete it again, and you can control this. So for example, if you had a business builder app, you could ask people, say, every 3 months or every 6 months, and users can dismiss this if they don't want to complete the survey again. Every week, your Fliplet app will automatically get all the recent survey responses, put them into a single digest, and email it to the app admins. So the app admins don't have to do anything to gain access to this, to the survey responses. They automatically get sent to them once a week. And this feature is designed to be plug and play, as all of these features are. So you can quickly pick them up and drop them into existing apps. And if you'd like to explore kind of how we can do this with any of your apps, simply put the word engagement into the QA feature, and we'll get in touch and talk with you more about how you can be an early adopter of these features and test them. So there we go. So this can be added to brand new apps, but it can also be added to existing apps. So if you're interested, type the word engagement in the QA feature. So let's talk about data-powered features. So you've heard about LFDv2. You've probably heard about data-powered features. My colleague Tony gave a detailed demo of how it works last summit. And we're getting very close to launching these features. Here's an example of kind of a recent mock-up we were doing of all the new components we're going to be launching. These are not the final names or the final icons, but it just gives you a bit of a taste for what stage we're at. So one of the exciting things about these new data-powered features is that you'll be able to have full drag and drop layout control over your lists. You'll also have the ability to build your own filter screens using the form builder, which means you can tailor exactly the filter screen to suit your needs, which is a new feature and something that's very hard to do in the current list from data source feature. You also have full drag and drop control over what shows up in the detail view or when you show a single record on screen. And this is, again, a very powerful feature because you can mix data-powered features and non-data powered features. So for example, the image might be coming from a data source, but a button might always go to the same screen, or an icon might always be the same. So you can kind of combine things that are coming from data and you can mix it with things that are static. And we believe this is going to give customers and Fliplet the ability to create entirely new ways of showing data that's powered by data sources. So there's lots of advantages. One of the major advantages that I think our customers are going to like the most is that this new feature is designed to be fast. What I mean by that is one of the performance problems we had with the LFD, or the list from data source feature, is it has certain optimizations that we've made over time, but as customers have put more and more data into Fliplet, the existing component has slowed down. When we built these new data-powered features, we made sure that they were built to be as fast as possible. And I'm very excited to see customers, particularly with large data sets in their apps, starting to use these features and hopefully seeing a really dramatic performance increase. So if you would like early access to these features, please put the word data into the QA feature and we will follow up with you. This will mean we will get in touch with you. We'll make sure that you have early access to these capabilities. And we'll also make sure that we work with you to kind of customize and utilize these features so that we learn what our customers are trying to do. And hopefully by the time we get to the final release, and I can see lots of customers are excited by this, a whole line of the word data just appeared in the QA feature. So I'm very excited, and we will be getting in touch with you to explore how you can use these new data-powered features. Add-ons. So a lot of you are aware that we are working on a multi-environment feature. We've been talking about this for a while now, and we are currently in the late stages of testing. Our internal customer success team has been actively testing this feature with a number of clients, and you will have received an email from us about the multi-environment feature and asking if we can test it with you. If you haven't said yes, please get back to us. We really appreciate it. And this feature is going to offer a whole range of new capabilities, including the ability for our customers to implement and enforce kind of best practices when it comes to the software development lifecycle. So I have a bit of a demo here of how the feature works. So the first thing that this feature enables is the ability for you to invite people that are outside your organization to your organization. This is critical because as part of customers having multiple organizations, you don't want to have to duplicate your users. So in this example, we're seeing somebody in the Fliplet organization inviting somebody from the Appleseed organization. Previously, doing this would have resulted in an error. Now you're able to do it without an error. And then what my colleague Sophie in the video is demonstrating is how you can see the other organizations that you're invited to. It can be part of external third-party organizations, or it could be part of your own organization where you've got multiple Fliplet accounts for different purposes. And this is how easy it is to switch between accounts. Super easy, really powerful feature. As part of our phase 1 delivery of this feature, customers will be able to make copies of their apps to other organizations, other environments, and then they'll be able to use them in those environments. And then when they want to apply changes that they've made in other environments, such as the development environment back to the production environment, they will need to manually merge those apps, which is basically how customers work today. The way this merging works is that you basically copy the screens across, you copy the files across, you kind of manually copy the data that you need across, and you basically manually patch the changes from your updated app back into your production app. And if you'd like more information on this feature, get in touch and we can explain kind of best practices of how to do manual app merging. But we're also working on a new merge tool. This new merge tool will have a dedicated interface to help customers take apps from other environments or other organizations and merge them into apps in other organizations. It's going to be quite sophisticated, give people control over what screens, what data sources, what files, and exactly kind of what to do. We're really excited by this feature, and we are specifying the details of it this quarter with the goal of building it in Q1. We're also working on an app log and integration monitoring add-on. So this will enable the add-on to automatically detect integration issues, user security anomalies, high sensitivity changes such as the modification of API keys, IP address traffic changes, like a lot more traffic's coming from a new IP address, etc. Other things that you might need to be aware of. And we are building this feature this quarter. And then straight after that, we're going to be building our app health monitoring. So this is more about monitoring the health of your app. And it's going to look for things like broken links, missing files, errors that are occurring in the app, and unusual app edit activity. And we're going to be working on this feature as soon as we finish the app log and integration monitoring capabilities. They're similar, but they kind of have a slightly different scope. So yeah, that feature is going to be coming very soon. Let's talk about domains and SEOs. So we are adding the ability for you to bring your own email domain and your own email address to Fliplet. This feature is currently in UAT. I believe that we have our first customer testing this feature already. And if you're interested to test this feature, just type the word domain into the QA feature and we'll get in touch with you. So this means that customers, your users will not get emails from the Fliplet domain anymore. They'll now get emails from your domain, which means you can completely white label your app. We're also adding the ability for you to add your own domain name to your web apps. What this means is that you'll be able to have like app.company.com or mygreatestapp.company.com. And again, already a number of customers have started to purchase domain names and preparing to start to use this feature. We're also adding in the ability, if you want to turn it on, the ability for you to expose your app's content to Google, which means it will now start to rank on Google. And this is also one of the key reasons why we're working on new data-powered features, so that we can deliver more SEO optimized screens so that Google is able to access your content if you wanted to. By default, the SEO features will be disabled, and you'll have to turn them on. But they're going to be there, and we think this is going to really help customers to start to do a lot of new things with their Fliplet apps. So if you're interested in the web or email domains or the SEO features, just type the word domain and we will get in touch with you in the QA feature. Studio and Fliplet Viewer updates. So in Studio and Fliplet Viewer, you will now receive push notifications if your test app sends them. This is really exciting because before you had to deploy your app onto a mobile device with a standalone app to test that this works, or you had to use a live web app. You no longer have to do that. If your app sends push notifications during testing in Fliplet Viewer or preview mode, they will now show up as push notifications in your browser or on Fliplet Viewer. That's available now. We have been testing an AI support chatbot with a group of our users. Now, the reason why we decided to start testing this is a number of very obvious reasons. The first is our support chatbot is available 24/7. Fliplet's support is not available 24/7. The second thing is Fliplet's chatbot speaks any language you want, and it will translate our documentation into your language of choice. Our support team doesn't speak every language in the world. And the third thing, we've seen a lot of customers interacting with our chatbot and asking it for guidance around how to write code. And it's coming up with some really novel, highly innovative solutions, so much so that even our customer success team has been using the chatbot to help them address code problems. So there's a number of like really powerful, really exciting capabilities. And I've actually missed the most important one, which is AI generally responds in under a minute, which is faster generally than our humans are able to get back to your response. And that's not because our human support is slow, although sometimes they are busier than other times. It's also because they can't type as fast as AI. AI produces an enormous amount of text very quickly. We just can't keep up. So if you'd like access to this feature, you'd like to have a play with this, just type the word support into QA. and we will enable this as a feature on your account so you can have a play. Don't worry, if you do want to escalate to a human, you just click this little link here and it'll still take you through to the human-based chat. You don't have to interact with AI if you don't want to, but it's there if you want to. And we believe as it gets better and as we get better at teaching it how to be more helpful, a lot of our customers will probably prefer interacting with it because it has all of these benefits. So if you're interested in having a play, type the word support into the QA feature. We are upgrading our publishing feature. Here's a kind of a recent mock-up of what we believe the new feature will look like. This is going to dramatically accelerate how quickly our customers are able to publish their apps. We're going to be releasing the first version of this to support our custom domain feature that I mentioned earlier. And then next year, we'll be adding in iOS and Android. One of the biggest benefits of this new feature to our customers is we're actually taking features out. And you're thinking, you've taken features out? Why, as a customer, am I excited by that? And it's because one of the biggest problems we've had keeping our publishing feature reliable is the fact that the app stores keep changing things. And so in order to reduce the dependency on app stores and reduce the potential for our publishing feature to break, we're actually reducing the scope of what we do with the app stores and focusing more around doing the most important part, which is building great apps really quickly and less about managing the app stores. By reducing the amount of dependency we actually have on the app stores, we believe will increase the reliability of our publishing feature. It will also mean that publishing becomes a lot faster. Our customers will not have to learn as many things in our publishing interface. They won't have to enter as much data. We're slipstreaming everything about this process, and we're going to try to make it so that your apps not only get built faster, but also the amount of time it takes you to request the build is significantly faster and requires less training and less complexity. We've got a new slider component. This will be available this quarter. It's completely drag and drop layout controlled. You can have every slide different. You can even include forms, which is great if you want to include terms and conditions acceptance directly in your slider or your onboarding screen. We're also launching this quarter our conditional container component. What this means is that depending on the user's data, you can control what the user sees. This is fantastic if you want to show different information on screen, like maybe different menu items or different content to different types of users. So for example, if you've got an event manager using an event app, you might want to show them the ability to kind of access and do certain things, and you might not want attendees seeing it. You also might want different features available to, say, staff with certain titles in your corporate directory. This feature enables you to say, well, like if they're a partner, show them this capability, but if they're not a partner, don't let that capability be seen. And you combine this with our data-powered features, and it means that depending on who's seeing different features in the data-powered components, it will hide and show the different features to them. So it's super powerful, it's really simple, and again, it removes another common piece of code that customers have to do. We've recently upgraded iOS and Android app compatibility. So every year, iOS and Android come out with a new SDK. That new SDK brings about a whole series of enhancements, gives access to new features, etc. And then we have to upgrade our publishing software so that it works with the new SDKs, make sure that there are no bugs, etc. We've completed that this year. You can go and build your apps right now, and it'll use the new SDKs. It's critical that you will need to rebuild your apps anyway, because the app stores will stop supporting apps built with old SDKs. So if you haven't updated your app in a while, it might be a good opportunity to do it. There's also other performance benefits and things like this, particularly correlated to the latest operating systems on iOS and Android, which your app will benefit from by upgrading. So developer tools. If you are a developer, if you use Visual Studio or other tools, I think you're really going to like this. So Fliplet for many years has had a Visual Studio extension, but it has had a couple of small issues that has meant that internally it has worked, but it has not been able to be publicized effectively to customers. We have finally fixed those small bugs, and now all of our customers are able to use this feature. It's really easy to get. You just go into Visual Studio or one of the many other Visual Studio-based development tools, like Cursor is a popular one at the moment, and you just go to their extensions and you type in a name and off you go. It's really easy. Hopefully, you find this useful. We will be releasing some documentation about this soon. Keep an eye out on our newsletter that comes out once a month, and we will promote when we've launched this feature. If you would like us to proactively get in touch with you when we've launched the documentation and the tutorial for this feature, please type development into the QA feature, and we will get in touch with you when the developer documentation is available. This feature is a game changer for those of you who have teams or colleagues that are actively coding in Fliplet. Visual Studio makes it so much easier to particularly complicated code, to put sophisticated code into your Fliplet apps. Form updates. So I'm running out of time, so I'm going to go a little bit faster now. We've upgraded our rich text field. It's got a new mobile UI. We've improved a stack of code. We've also got some exciting new features coming soon, such as the ability to mention other users in the app, and also integration with the file manager so that you can incorporate files that have been uploaded to Fliplet directly into your rich text fields. Those two coming soon features are going to be optional. If you haven't seen this feature, I recommend you check it out. It was rolled out predominantly because it needed some security updates. We have a new address field that is in its final stages of testing. And what this address field does, it enables you to basically do a type-ahead search for any address in the entire planet, because it uses Google Maps behind the scenes. So as you can see, you can type in a specific address, you can select it, and then optionally, you can have the parts of it fill other fields, but you can also run a search for things like Statue of Liberty or British Library or things like this. And so it's not just addresses, but it can also be popular places. So we believe this will really help customers to collect address data. We also have a new field that we're coding right now, which is our address field, our map field. And so what you can do with the map field is you can click on the GPS and it'll kind of focus on where you are, making it very easy to share your location via a form. But you can also run a search, and then you can move the marker around, and you're also able to zoom in and out on the map. And we also hope to have satellite mode available soon. So we've got a new map field coming as well. We've got a new timestamp field. So the timestamp field is really important if you need to record when something was created or when a record was last updated. This is, I'll be honest with you, a slightly boring but incredibly important field. If you've needed timestamps in the past, I'm sure you understand why this is valuable to you, and it's a bit technical. So if you're not really sure what this means, don't worry. You probably don't need to worry about it. And it's very powerful. It's very easy to use. I'm going to just skip this demo because we're running out of time. And so app solution updates. So we have been actively working on applying a number of updates to our learning solution. We've been doing this for most of the year, actually, because what we've realized is that through changing certain things about how our app solutions operate, we can increase the usability and the speed at which customers are able to get to pilot much faster. So we've been actively working on streamlining the course creation, using AI to help draft the first version of the content for lessons and quizzes. And we are extending the AI capabilities so that it can help you draft the entire course, not just the initial set. And we've also been working on improving the user interface and coming up with some new designs, making the user experience simpler and clearer. And here you can see a screenshot. So I can see I've received one question, so I'll take this quickly. So the question is, are we going to be incorporating the native transition features so that you can go forwards and backwards using the native transition effects on the iOS and Android apps? We actually already support native transitions in the iOS and Android app. When you're adding in a link inside Fliplet Studio, you can choose the animation, and you can choose whether it's like slide left or right, push left or right. And those animations are hardware accelerated by the mobile device. They do not work on web. They are only hardware accelerated and only available inside native apps.